All right, give me just a moment. Let me get this set up and then we are good to go. I can see if the comments are being left, if there's any questions. All right, cool. All right, good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome. All right, so I'm going to continue on from last week, try to make this a weekly thing. For those of you that are brand new to this, my name is Tensho. I hail from the Zamunda squad. Um, yes, named after that Zamunda and Coming to America. So every single week, what we're going to do is we are going to go over the sectors, the common sectors. From time to time, we might throw in um, some other sectors that aren't the most common, kind of just to get an idea of what's going on with the market, what could potentially happen. Again, for those of you that don't know me, I'm primarily a strat trader, which is a strategy that is based on price action. If there's any questions at any given time, feel free to drop a comment. If you find this video informative, help a brother out, like, share, join Zamunda. The link is in there as well too. We're definitely about the education for sure. Hey, what's up, Ash? Good to see you. Mo Fitness, good evening. I'm not sure if you're in Zamunda already. I don't recognize. Obviously, that's probably not your Discord name, but yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Anybody else that joins, they can come in and see because I told the group and also blasted it on Twitter, so we should be good there. Ah, I'm drinking some ginger tea, so bear with me. I was yelling a lot yesterday at my soccer game. So yeah, my voice kind of just went. All right, let's go ahead and get this going. So, um, primarily what we're going to be looking at. Hey, Tina, what's up? Primarily what we're going to be looking at is time frame wise is just going to be the day, the week, and then also excuse me, day, week, month, and also uh, oh, got you. So day, week, month, and then also the quarter as well too. Um, I forgot to turn back on certain indicators. There we go. And just give me a moment. Let me turn off. I'm going to turn off the targets so they go away. There we go. All right. So that should be good. There we go. Okay. And then let me turn it back on over here as well too. Oh, there we go. And also get rid of that. Okay. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to look at is going to be SPY, of course, right? Most popular one, right? Um, I mean, what we're seeing on SPY is, all the larger time frames are still showing bullishness. We did kind of take out highs recently, and we came back to retest. So here's where your high would be, right? On the daily, weekly, it's all-time highs, right? So we took out highs and price looks like it's coming back to retest that high. Except for on Friday, we did make a higher high from the previous day on Thursday, and then we pulled back. So, um, this could possibly mean that we came back to try to retest that high of 503.50, and we're potentially getting a pullback. We did go three on Friday. So, although full time frame continuity is not completely in bearish favor, we are at the highs right now that we've gotten a high and that we have reversed. Now would be a good time that you can probably draw out your broadened formations. So that'll show that we're at the top of the range. Obviously, on the daily, there's still room to push up. If we do push up on Tuesday, excuse me, I forgot the market is closed on President's Day. Um, and then also, if we do pull back, you also want to mark out potentially, what lows we could bounce off of, and so you have a low down here at 490. So SPY has actually been holding that one rather strong. So this may not be a complete reversal, could just be a retracement back to a level of support, only to continue pushing higher. I believe this week we have FOMC minutes, excuse me, on Wednesday. I'm not going to go over the whole economic calendar, but I believe some of the big ones are FOMC minutes on Wednesday, NVIDIA reports earnings on Wednesday after market close as well too. So that should be pretty important to you. NVIDIA's kind of is the leader of chips. Chips has kind of been the one leading the market and leading this run up. So I believe it is my belief that their earnings are going to matter. However, so far, all we have right now to go off of is that we are bullish on the higher time frames, right? We did TTO on the higher time frames. And looks like we just came to retest the high on the daily, couldn't do it, came back into the range. So if we do drop, I would expect somewhere a drop between 495 and 490, or 494 and 490, unless something like drastic happens in the market, aka FOMC does something. I would, as for now, to me, I'm going to treat this as a retracement. But, if we do drop again, it would just be some healthy corrective activity. If you're looking at the larger time frames, we've been running for a while, like even looking at the weekly, the last time, with the exception of this candle, the last time we had a red week was the first week of January. Actually, no, that's um, no, yeah, first week of January, excuse me. So, yeah, definitely, definitely some much needed corrective activity, in my opinion. Is this the complete reversal? Not sure yet. I don't see it yet. There's some levels that would need to be taken out first for me to say, okay, yeah, we're definitely reversing to the downside. However, I believe a stepping stone to that reversal would involve NVIDIA's earnings. If it's not good, then yeah, we can possibly see that drop. Okay, cues. So again, the cues are pretty much the same as SPY. Attempted to TTO back to the upside, take out this high, taking out this high, which would have taken us back to higher highs, aka all-time highs in this situation. But didn't, right? We did make a higher high with the 3 candle, but then came right back down. So the selling was definitely in. And again, if we do drop some more for Qs, obviously, as you can see, we have a level of support there at about 425, and then we have another low here down at 417. So if the Qs continue to drop, those would be 2 areas that I pay attention to. If we take them, then we can drop further down to, I would say, about 400. So, again, just the same thing that we said with SPYs. Qs has been running up. This could very well just be a retracement before we take the next leg up. But again, it really does depend on FOMC, what they're thinking. If their thought process is kind of along the lines with what the market is thinking, if it's not, then we could get some more bearishness. Or if it's better than what the market was thinking, we can go ahead and get some bullishness. So I think right now they're pricing in rate cuts. What was the last time I saw? Was either in June or potentially a little bit further than that. But yeah, we'll see what happens. What I would do is just be prepped for. I'll be prepped for this week. Whatever you're charting, make sure you chart it to both sides of it. And the reason why, even though major time frames again are heavily bullish, the month and the quarter, we're at highs, right? So when we're at highs, there is potential for exhaustion, of course, and we could pull back into the range. So again, Make sure whatever you're getting into, and whether you're charting sectors or if you're charting a particular ticker, especially a ticker that's at all-time highs, make sure that you are um, charting for both sides of it. All right, so next we're gonna go ahead and we'll go with materials XLB. Oh, old targets that I drew out. Okay, yeah, we can get rid of those. So with materials, looking at materials, looks like the weirdest stuff French toast. That, yep, definitely a Sal comment. As soon as I saw French toast, I'm like, yep, Sal's on the live. Um, so man, made me lose my damn train of thought. So we ended up with shooter vibes, right? I know it's a bullish candle shooter, but something that again we do need to pay attention to just in case that's a sign of exhaustion. However, it's still a two up, right? If we stay two up, materials next week could continue going. I mean, if you look at it on the weekly, I do like it overall. I wouldn't mind a pullback on a daily. Um, because looking at the weekly and then also the monthly, the fact that the month went three, exhausting off of the same area, or excuse me, getting support off of pretty much the same levels. Hold on just 1 second. What are you reaching for? No, absolutely not. No, no, no. Put it back, please. And daddy is telling you no because that's not good for your throat. Okay? It's not going to make your throat better. You can't have milk right now. You can't have milky things with dairy in it right now. Juice doesn't have any milk in it, does it? Nope. So that's why I said you can have the juice, right? Yeah. And that's why I allowed you to have the popsicle because it has no milk in it either. Okay. Baby, right now you're stuffing, so no dairy. So I'm sorry you can't have the yogurt. If you want something sweet, there's apples and bananas over there. Would you like a banana or an apple? Can you reach it on your own or do you want my help getting it? Okay, go ahead. You can have it, yes. See you soon. All right. Um, sorry about that. So, where was I train of thought wise? Train of thought wise. Shit, I don't lost my train of thought. Okay. Yeah, so a couple things I like about materials, right? One, I know the quarter's not done. We still have March to go. But as you can see, we're either set up for a holy grail on the quarter or we go 3-2 to the upside on the quarter, right? Two, even though we're not currently in force, the month did go three, so the bulls are definitely stepping in. And if we finish like this, well, obviously we finish as a nirvana, right? Because a three is still going to be a three no matter what, right? Um, her negotiation skills. No. It's actually my negotiation skills. I say yes to certain things knowing she's going to ask for something later. So I say it's chess. I said yes to one in order to say no to the other. Had I said no to both, it would have been worse. Um, anyway, so the Nirvana on the month. Um, what was I gonna say? Damn, lost my train of. Okay, the Nirvana on the month. So if we stay like this, not in force, actually even in force, what we're looking for is the 132 to the upside heading into March. If that happens, then obviously we go 3-2 up on the quarter, and as you can see, we're very close to doing that above 86.30. So if I were you, even with this shooter looking candle, even though it's bullish, it does, has a shooter vibe to it. Even if that pulls back, if I were you, I'd still be paying attention to materials. Um, what was I going to say? Because of what we're seeing on the weekly, the monthly, and then also the quarter. On the week is not exactly a setup. However, from our video that we talked about earlier, if you were in on that video when I was talking to you guys earlier today, we are coming from the bottom of the Broadman formation, right? So we have a little room to go to take out this high at 86.30, which again would take the quarter up, go 3-2 to the upside, and then we'd also have space again for a push up, just a little bit further of a push up. Right? Okay, so you see the broad information, you understand it, right? But yeah, again, what I would probably do is I'd probably keep materials on my radar. Some of the tickers that you should probably put in your watch list, especially if you're looking from a swing perspective, is let me see, where is it? You can look at SHW, FCX, NUE, DOW, and as a matter of fact, I think I may end up being mad at myself because I think I had mentioned NUE to the group. Oh, good. No, we're still good. Okay, yeah, we still got time. Right, but we did go 3-2 up on a quarter. Okay, we still got time. All right, I thought I missed the move. Yeah, we still got time. Okay. Um, we got time for that to pull back. Cool. So yeah, those are some of the tickers that again I suggest that you pay attention to. Some may be set up for a pretty decent swing. Again, NEM, ECL, NUE, excuse me, DOW, FCX. Those are some tickers from the material sector. All right, so those are ones that you should pay attention to. Now we're going to move on to XLC. It never did. Well, it did a little bit. I was curious if it would. Okay. 1 second. Let's see. Okay, never mind. I'm still working with this program that helps me to stream. I'm still learning it. So, um, okay. So with XLC, right? Again, from the larger time frames, still very bullish, right? Outside 3-2 on the quarter, 2-2 continuation on the month. We're not quite at all-time highs, of course. It's just been steadily climbing. So we'll see if it wants to continue pushing, right? Up above 86.36. We did go outside week. We do have a Nirvana set up on the outside week, and the week did close lower than the previous inside week. So what we're wanting to look for is potentially a 132 to the downside. But then again, it is XLC. So Netflix or Meta can run at any given point, depending on really good news, and that could drag and that could turn it around. However, if you ask me, we did go 2-2 reversal. We tried to take out this high and just barely did, right? We just barely took out the high, right, to make that top of the range. So what we could be seeing is the exhaustion and then reversal on for the reversal to the downside, in which case you would have this target to take out, not to mention this gap fill over here on the daily, which would take price down to 76.98. So definitely some, some room obviously for it to, drop and get some corrective activity about it. Um, but yeah, if it drops further, then we got 75 and then we can keep going. If you ask me, I think, probably just going to be a pullback before the next leg up. Unless again, there's some news that comes out. As it stands right now, the way the charts looks, that's probably what's going to happen. And again, unless something drastically changes, some news, the Fed does something, you know. All right, so energy. Um, I haven't really paid attention much to oil news recently, but energy did take the quarter down. However, it seems to be forming a hammer. So we'll see how March closes, but that's what it seems to be doing. Ever since it kind of hit the top of the range, because when you look at the monthly, it is at the top of the range, right? It's just been kind of consolidating and sitting at the top. So it's like, does it want to drop, or has this just been consolidation for it to, continue to push up. Because what's been happening, this is not a broad information. It is not, I repeat, not a broad information, but essentially price has kind of been doing this, right? It's been making lower highs. And so, it's eventually something gonna happen. Either we break to the downside or we break to the upside, one of those two. But yeah, it just looks like it's just been consolidating. You kind of see it a little bit more clearly on the quarter, just been consolidating before it makes its move. So on the quarter, we did take out the previous quarter lows, and then again, like I said, exhausted and came back up. On the month, it looks like we have another week and some change in February. So as you can see in the previous months, it's been exhausting from the lows. So now we finally got a bullish inside candle. Holy Grail setup on the monthly if the month closes a one. If not, we needed to get above 87.11 in order for energy to keep it moving back to the upside. When you look at the week, even though again we're at the top of the range on the higher time frames, um, broad information wise, we are coming from the lows of the range of the weekly range, right? Because we did make a low. We've been making lower lows. And so we finally got that swing, that pivot back to the upside. Now we're making higher lows. So we'll see. What I would like to see on the weekly is for it to continue taking out this high of 87.11, which would be price taking out the month as well too to the upside. So just remember, if energy takes out 87.11, then we go 3-2 up on the month. Obviously, the quarter stays a two down, but it ends up being more of a hammer. And then obviously we still have March to go. Now on the daily, we've been getting a lot of consolidation here, right? Lots of consolidation. Finally broke to the upside, ended with a two up bearish candle. So possibly we reverse, or honestly, this could have just been profit taken on Friday. And then we continue the move up, um, possibly displacing above this candle at 86.25. And again, your next target would be 87.11. So, depending on what happens, if we trigger the day and the week up on energy, I would probably, yeah, like I said, I'll probably keep energy um, on my radar. Looking at XOM, you could look at CVX. There is also MRO, which I like, SLB, Schlumberger. So, the Oxy, of course, can't really forget Oxy. So those are a couple of tickers that you should definitely put on your radar for this week, right? Because again, on the daily, looks like potential maybe it might pull back, but the larger time frames are still bullish. So if it does pull back on the daily, this kind of presents an opportunity for when it finally does, or assuming that the week and the month and the quarter, um, they stay bullish. This gives us an opportunity to get in with the trend once the day reverses back to the upside. You can take that trigger back to the upside if you're trading XLE. If not, then again, find a ticker in XLE that looks rather similar to it, and yeah, go from there. Banks, dollar bills, y'all. Banks low key has been going on a tear. We so caught up with all the tech stuff. Look at this, y'all. Look at this. From since October, we could have gotten into banks from since October, yo. This would have been an amazing swing. Um, so yeah, banks, financials, XLF financials, right? So they, was getting beaten up for a little bit, but now we see apparently they're seeing the light. They're starting to come back. It looks like it wants the TTO back to the upside, above 4170. That actually takes it back to all-time highs. Okay. So we're 3-2 up on the quarter, 2-2 continuation on the month. Yeah, we're looking to take out 4170. I think that's what its price is trying to do. It's trying to seek out um, that all-time high to take that out. We ended up nirvana on the week for financials. So yeah, honestly, you should definitely have at least one or two financial tickers charted for this week, possibly swinging into next week. You should definitely have them charted, right? We are inside, so that's an actionable signal on the daily. But yeah, overall, I really like the look of it. Nirvana set up on the weekly, 2-2 continuation on the month, 3-2 up on the quarter. Possible TTO back to the upside above 4170. Yeah, I mean, definitely check out your tickers: Morgan Stanley, JPM Chase, right? What's the one that we talk? Goldman Sachs, GS, Brianna, um, Bank of America, BAC, Wells Fargo as well too. Citigroup, C. So yeah, those are definitely some tickers that you should add to your watch list as a potential swing, even as a potential day trade as well too. But I like this for a swing, especially if we can end up on the daily setting up somewhat like a rev strat scenario, where maybe on Tuesday, excuse me, maybe we go two down, but it ends up being a hammer, and then that could set us up for the Wednesday heading into the following week. To keep pushing and then trigger the weekly up again, monthly, and the quarters already triggered as well too. So yeah, definitely XLF. Um, we should definitely keep that on our radars, right? For sure. Um, let's move on to the next. So I think the next one to go with is XLI. XLI stands for industrials. It's the industrial sector. So in there, you'll have your CAT, your John Deere, what's the one? Honeywell, HON. You got Boeing in there, BA, I believe. Defense sectors and industrials too. LMT, Lockheed Martin, RTX, Raytheon. I feel like I am forgetting. Who am I forgetting? UPS and FedEx are also in here as well too. So those are just a couple tickers to throw out there. Obviously, it's not every single ticker in XLI, but XLI, just continues to push up. Even with the pullbacks, it continues to push up. It is at all-time highs, looking solid on the higher time frames. We may get a pullback on the daily, right? The weekly is still up and in confirmation. Excuse me, in force. My apologies. Yeah, honestly, it's just that Friday that ended with the two up bearish candles. So we may get a pullback. Maybe price dips down into this gap here. maybe. If it does, this is a potential area of a bounce for price, right? It could come maybe to the 50% of the gap fill, bounce and continue heading back up. It can completely close the gap fill, bounce and head back up. Or if we're super bearish, yeah, it could just obliterate the gap fill and continue heading down, back down to about 115. But um, yeah, I don't know because industrials just been doing their thing. I think John Deere's the only one that was kind of like it got wrecked. Yep. But honestly, that's why I'm putting this thing on my radar because if the sector continues moving um, higher and John Deere's lagging behind, eventually homeboy gonna catch up. So them 400s might still be in play as a long term swing. Basically, we'll repeat what we did on was it January I called out the John Deere play? I'll have to go back and look, but basically we have an opportunity to repeat what we did that first time when I called out the 370 calls and it ran up to like 380, 390. So yeah, just make sure that you keep it on your radars. But again, looking at the sector, with the exception of the daily, um, yeah, I would still chart it out. I would still see what looks strong and bullish there because um, it didn't really get affected too bad, even with the C when even when you take in the week, the day of CPI and then Friday, it, still ended two up on the week and still in force on the month with the 212. Yeah, still looking pretty strong to me, if you ask me. So we'll see what happens with XLI, but definitely looking strong. So you should definitely chart out and see what's at an opportunity for you to potentially set up as a swing or even as a day trade. But I know FedEx pays pretty well, the contracts I should say, UPS as well too, right? CAT's pretty expensive but still pays well. Same thing with John Deere. But yeah, all right. So next we did XLE, we did XLC, we did XLI, XLF. So then next, alphabetically speaking, would be XLK. So tech. All right, I'm going to add something to this, right? No matter what we're seeing now, keep in mind that this can change Wednesday heading into Thursday simply because of NVIDIA's earnings, okay? So what we're seeing now can change depending on NVIDIA's earnings. For example, we could bleed in the beginning part of the week, but NVIDIA's earnings could end up being, well, for lack of a better word, immaculate. If it ends up being immaculate and guidance is good, I imagine that the market as well as um, you know the tech sector will probably run, right? So we'll see how that goes. But what we're looking at so far is, yeah, we had a pullback on the weekly. We didn't quite go outside. We exhausted just short of that, but we caught the pullback on the weekly. Price basically made the gap from Tuesday, tried to come back and close the gap, couldn't do it, started reversing and heading down. So we're outside and we're looking for either the 3-2 to the downside to take out the target of 201, potentially to even come down and possibly take out this target here at 197.58 before we get a potential reversal back to the upside. There is a small gap fill. There is a small gap fill just shortly below that low. So possible that, this again is just a retracement um, before the move higher, probably expanding to the other side before the move higher, right? Because we have created, at least on the daily, well, actually on other time frames too, but we've created the top of our broad information. So yeah, we could potentially just be exhausting from the top and maybe possibly coming back through the range to either take out this low or possibly this low down here as well too. Looking at it on the weekly, could be what we're seeing over here, right? The 1 week of red, and then we get that engulfing candle or the 2-2 reversal back to the upside. So we could potentially get that as well too. Again, That's what I'm saying. Nvidia's earnings will probably be the catalyst for that. That might continue pushing that. But other than that, on the higher time frames, month for now, it's not in force, but it is still a two up. Quarter for now is in force. We are at all-time highs as well too, but it's also a two up. Now, because we're at highs, just something that you want to, just keep in mind that if we do end up kind of red on the month, that may set up the quarter for a 3-2-2 rev strat back to the downside, right? So if we do set up that way and it goes 2-2 reversal in the month, just mark out your quarter where it would go 3-2-2 rev strat. If the higher time frames start to flip red, then yeah, I'll probably, and again, that probably will have to do with NVIDIA earnings. I would probably start looking at maybe some puts for a swing, not like 6 months out, but maybe like a month out or so, especially if the higher time frames start to reverse on us here. All right, so from XLK, we are going, I think next one would be XLP, if I'm not mistaken. So with consumer staples, let's get rid of that, right? As you can see, we're coming from the bottom of the range for consumer staples. Old broad information I drew a while back, and it kind of holds true. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to stretch it over here, even though it passes this, because this low did take out that low, so I'm going to stretch this to like that, right? So it's been respecting. We bounced off of it. We are set up for a potential. We did go 2-1-2 reversal to the downside on the weekly. However, because of how the candle ended, we could potentially set ourselves up for a 1-2-2 rev strat back to the upside. Month is up, just not currently in force. Honestly, again, we're just bouncing off the lows, off the bottom of the broadening formation that you see here on the quarter. So yeah, we could continue. We could see maybe a slight pullback from this run up, but then we can continue higher. I think, right? And kind of seeing that, same thing on the daily. We're seeing that pullback. As a matter of fact, let me see something here. Yeah, see, it dipped right down to OTE levels. And over here, it dipped right below equilibrium and then came right back up. So I think XLP, just got to be a little patient with it, but I think XLP is going to continue this bullish trend. I think what we're seeing is a pullback from this run up that we had starting back in October. But yeah, XLP definitely has some room to run. So I would just make sure I put that on my radar for XLP. Some of the things to look at for XLP is going to be, of course, Walmart. You got, I think, it was either Pepsi or Coca-Cola that crushed the earnings. I can't remember which one, but one of them recently did it. Cost, of course, PG, Procter and Gamble. There's also, some sleepers in here like Campbell Soup, or Campbell Soup CPB, or the cleaning people, Clorox, CLX. Those are some good sleepers. KHC, which is Kraft Heinz. Slow movers, but they will get the job done. WBA, Walgreens, as that's Walgreens. So yeah, definitely some sleepers in here that could potentially turn into some pretty nice bangers as well. PEP. Oh, as far as earnings, yeah, I knew it was one of them. It was one of them, PEP or Coca-Cola, that had decent earnings. But either way, the way the chart is setting up, Target is in, I thought Target was in consumer discretionary. Yeah, I think it's an XLY. But it's about damn time that Target had a good earnings, yo. If that's what you're saying, or if you're just saying look at the chart. It's about time because Target was just getting its butt whooped for a very, very, very long time. But go ahead and look at it. Take a look at it. Add that one to your watch list as well too. Um, but yeah, overall, like I said, XLP is definitely something that I would keep on my watch list. What we could be just seeing is the pullback, but looking at the higher time frames, we may be set up for a decent swing. So I would chart it for that, right? She's gonna cook the friend. Dr. D says she's gonna cook the friend, rabbit, and rice and gravy. What? What friend? I'm so lost. All right, we're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna figure that out. XLP. So then let's go to healthcare. Yeah, XLP to V2. Yep. Nope, I skipped over one. My apologies. Let's go to utilities. Yeah. So what I would start to notice, sector rotation, start noticing what sectors are starting to move. Dr. D says she's gonna cook the fried rabbit and rice and gravy. I'm missing. What friend rabbit? What? One say fried, the other one say I'm so lost right now, bro. Well, if you cooking the rabbit, y'all enjoy. I don't think I've ever had rabbit. I've had snap and turtle before, but I've never had rabbit, so I'm sure it tastes decent though. Um, what I have had is deer jerky. Now that's pretty damn good. Like authentically homemade deer jerky. Like that shit was on point. Um, I didn't kill the deer, nor did I whatever they call it. Not cut it up, but what's the word? Harvest it. Yeah, I didn't harvest it, but um, that jerky was good as hell. Though I'm not gonna lie. Uh, oh, that spell check finally stopped messing with you. So yeah, fried rabbit. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. I mean, if you fry anything, that's probably gonna come out tasting good. So, where was I? Oh yeah. So for XOU, what I was the point I'm making is that start paying attention when you start seeing like certain sectors that are up while the rest of the market may be going in the opposite direction. That rotation. Pay attention to that rotation, right? So far, we're seeing potentially energy could start pushing up. Potentially consumer staples can start pushing up. Potentially what we're seeing now with XLU, even though the quarter is inside red, we're seeing potentially it can start pushing up. Why? Because we end up with an outside after taking out lows over here on the week. We end up with an outside week, so we're looking for that 3-2 continuation. If that continues happening, then the month is going to end up probably more so of a hammer, have a little bit of a thicker body to it, so we could possibly end up hammer. But again, that's coming from lows as well too, after taking out the low of the previous month. So we could potentially that could be setting us up for the reversal back to the upside. And the same thing for the quarter. If the month ends up pushing up, then you got to pay attention to the quarter, considering we have one more month left in the quarter. So I would mark out that if we go above 63.06, then we have flipped the quarter green. We flipped it into bullish um, time frame continuity. And as you can see, we're not that far off, right? We're not that far off. That could actually be done either by the end of this week, or it could potentially be done before February is before February closes. But again, we still have a whole month in March for that to happen. And then also, when you're looking at the daily, again, after making lower lows, we pivoted and now we are making higher lows. So we're looking for the 2-2 continuation. So what I would say is a ticker like NEE, NEE, follows XLU pretty closely, I would say. You do have also Duke, DUK, Duke Energy, and SO, which is Southern. And then I think you could probably get away with D, which is Dominion Energy as well too. But honestly, the ones that I pay attention to the most are gonna be NE, Duke, and SO. Now we can go over to healthcare. They got crawfish jerky too. I've never actually tried crawfish jerky. I'm sure it tastes good though. I've had crawfish though. Okay. So, looking at XLV, um, honestly, to me, it looks like we've done a lot of consolidation on the higher time frames, and we finally broke out of the range. Yeah, we finally broke out of that range. So, um, maybe we continue to push. Maybe this is a sign that healthcare is going to start continuing to push. I know we had, some exhaustion on the daily. However, we still remained in force. So, chart's not giving us a reason to get out of, anything having to do with healthcare. Sector's still looking strong. The week went two up and is in force. The only thing I would caution is that we're at all-time highs. But other than that, yeah, healthcare still looking strong. So, definitely check out your Johnson and Johnson. Check out Moderna, mRNA. Pfizer is a good cheap one as well too. I feel like Lilly, of course, but Lilly had a pretty big run up on Friday. So you may want to chill to see if that pulls back before possibly jumping in on it. And I believe Lilly is also at all-time highs, if I'm not mistaken. So you may want to chill on that. But you also have United Healthcare, UNH as well too. So those are definitely. But from the way the healthcare sector is looking, yeah, you should definitely put at least one or two tickers in your watch list for this week and potentially also what maybe like a monthly swing setup as well too. Last but not least, let me make sure I didn't forget any others. Last but not least, of course, we have XLY. We got Mr. Bezos in there. We got Mr. Elon in there. Tesla, aka Stressla, aka Tessie, aka Play with People Money, aka Mr. Elon tweet something out, might the whole thing up. I'm just joking. So um, looking at XLY, I believe we might be seeing the move to the upside, right? We're holy grail on the quarter, very close to just taking the quarter up, right? 182.19. We went 212 up on the month and still currently in force as well too. Um, Friday did not really do as bad to XLY as I thought it would. Considering I think Tesla actually held pretty well as well too. I didn't look at Amazon, but I do have some positions in Amazon for March. I've already given that contract to the group. It's in my channel. But yeah, I definitely, one of the reasons why I decided to get an Amazon, besides the way that it looked, is by looking also at the chart. Even though we had the pullback on Friday, looking at the way the chart is setting up, we have been doing nothing but making higher lows this entire time, higher highs and higher lows. So that leads me to believe that we are going to TTO. Now we may pull back on Tuesday, but again, mine doesn't expire till March 15th. So even if we pull back Tuesday, that's completely a okay with me. I'll just manage accordingly. But I think it's just going to be just that, just going to be a pullback. We catch the reversal and then take it to the upside. I think XLY is probably wanting to take out this 190 target over here, or was it 180 something? 189.45. I'm thinking that's what it wants to do. Um, and then continue up potentially to all-time highs. But for right now, um, let's see, the high would be up here actually. on the weekly at least, 192.19. Yeah, so there's definitely some room for it to continue up. Um, but yeah, I like the look of it. If it ends up inside, obviously you can probably, if it ends up going 212 reversal, you could probably get a short term put on it for XOY. But um, yeah, looking at some of the tickers in there, I think a lot of the tickers in there definitely want to continue pushing up. Amazon, I definitely like that to continue moving. I think McDonald's might also be set up. Yeah. Oh yeah, McDonald's. Whew, okay. Yeah, the McDonald's 300 calls. I'm gonna have to chart this out, but the McDonald's 300 calls might be calling my name. Where are we at up here? Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Let me come back to the sectors. I'll chart on my own time. But yeah, I definitely like the way XLY is looking. Again, you got your Amazons, your Tesla, small account friendly, which would be Ford, Target, um, Carnival Cruise Lines, Norwegian Cruise Lines. I think all the cruises are in there. Um, Let me see what else. Home Depot's in there. Again, I did say Tesla, Low, Nike, Starbucks as well too. You actually have a lot of pretty decent bangers in XLY. Etsy is also in here as well too. So yeah, definitely some pretty decent bangers in here that could definitely end up with some pretty good trades. DG as well. I forgot Dollar General's also in XLY. But yeah, I definitely like the look of it for XLY. So right now I'm cautious on tech just simply because of Nvidia earnings. Doesn't mean I'm bearish on it. I'm just cautious because of Nvidia earnings right now. Energy seems to be okay. That it might continue pushing up. XLB definitely something I would watch as well too. XLP, XLY, XLV. So those are some of the non-tech sectors that I would look at that can continue pushing up. Um, Let me also take a look at the cloud sector. Mm, well, that was a big drop. So more than likely on the daily for the cloud sector, we probably are shooting to take out this low down here at 2377. Or looking at it from the weekly as well too. Basically, we hit a high on the weekly, and it looks like we are um, possibly reversing, possibly reversing. And if we do, the month is probably going to be in danger of staying bullish. So I would say pay attention to the cloud sector and how it ends in February, because if this ends red, that gives you a shooter, which then sets you up for a reversal to the downside. So, CRM, Snow, uh, what's the other one? Service Now, I think it's called. Those are some tickers that that are in that sector that I suggest that you pay attention to. Um, Datadog is another one. AI actually is in there as well too. Literal AI, not like an AI program, but AI. And then Zoom is also in there. Twilio's in there as well too. So there's actually a couple in here that you could definitely trade and do pretty well on, as long as obviously you get the direction correct, right? Um, Another one I wanted to just check out before I let y'all go is going to be the cybersecurity sector, cyber defense sector, or cybersecurity, cyber defense, whatever. Tomato, tomato. If we do drop, looks like we have a nice level of support here with these three candles at 30.26, and there's a gap fill right below it. So that might be an area where price is going to potentially bounce from, or maybe make a new low and then bounce, like dip into the gap fill and then bounce. So, um, we ended up with a 31 Holy Grail on the weekly. just want to see something real quick. Yeah, I'm not sure I would be completely bearish on this just yet. Um, we did tap the 50% of this outside candle, but then came right back up. Um, so yeah, I'm not fully ready to say bearish like I'm confident in bearishness. I would say make a plan for both sides for the cybersecurity sector, cyber defense. Um, why am I saying that? Because looks like we're wanting to TTO back to the upside. We do go 2-2 up on the quarter. So, we're looking to try to take out this target of 32.33, and then we have all-time highs above 35.10. Monthly, again, it's still in force. It's 2-2 up. It's still, obviously, the month is still open, but we do have 1 week left and a couple of days. So, yeah, I wouldn't count this one out just yet. As a matter of fact, what I would probably do if it were me, I'm drawing the 50% retrace, and then look at where the member I said about that support, right? Right around the same area, right? So I'll probably draw that out. I'll probably mark this out as support as well too, as a potential bounce area. Possibly set, and I would set an alert for crossing up, because if it crosses down, I don't really care about that. I don't plan to play it to the put side. But if it crosses back up, then that tells me that one, it already crossed down, and then two, it's crossing up now. Maybe the bulls are stepping in. I could probably catch that move back to the upside. In which case, for cybersecurity, some of the tickers that would pique your interest would be Zscaler, ZS, CrowdStrike, CRWD, Palo Alto, PANW, Okta, I think, is another one that a lot of people trade as well too. So yeah, those are just some cybersecurity sector to throw out. Also, these tickers are in other sectors, but AVGO is in CIBR, which is another cybersecurity ETF that I follow. Fortinet, FTNT. So yeah, again, these are a couple tickers that you can definitely pay attention to. Oh, NET as well too, Cloudflare, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so that's it for me as far as the sector review. I would just say be heavily aware of what's going on in the market as far as the economic events going on. Now, with Friday, we had, a nice little drop. Some tickers dropped way more than others. So, you might see potentially a little bit of a run up, but I would say let the market open on Tuesday. We're dealing with a shortened week as well, too. So the algo still may just be asleep and wait until the following week. But yeah, just be careful with that. Um, keep your head on the swivel as well too. Hell, we may very well chop, to be honest with you. So just keep your head on the swivel. We may chop on Tuesday in anticipation of what's coming on Wednesday. Although the meeting minutes they aren't as heavily influencing as when the Fed comes out and speaks, when Powell comes out and speaks. So just be aware of that. The meeting minutes is just them putting out what they talked about in their meeting. So anyway, love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all have a great one. If you're brand new to this and you like what's going on, like I said, like, subscribe, and share, pretty please, as well as get to know us in Zamunda, right? We do Twitter Spaces as well too. As a matter of fact, we got Series 2 coming up next weekend, talking about trading discipline. We have the recording to Series 1, Intro to Stock Options, on our Twitter at Zamunda Profit Squad as well. So yeah, just find us. If you eventually want to sign up, you can always hit your boy up. Might have a little bit of a discount link for you. Just throwing that out there. If not, yeah, if you want to sign up at the full price, that's cool too. As a matter of fact, no, the link is down in this description of the video. So come on through. Well, I will say this though, we're heavily invested in your education. So we gonna be that annoying best friend that's gonna tell you exactly what you don't want to hear, but you can't necessarily argue with that friend because you know they are damn right. So you gonna hate us because we're gonna tell you ass get up and get into your education and learn and test you asking questions and shit. But it's gonna make you better, I promise. All right, y'all have a great night.